Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under today, and it is Monday. Thank you everybody who is a subscriber and has returned, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. It is Monday and we are hopping along with the girls from the lands down under. That's right, from Australia. We're the ones with the white flags, stars, and from New Zealand, the ones with the red stars on their flags. We all come in under the equator, and that's why we're hopping along together. Now this one is inspired by one of our own. I've taken a sketch by Mel W Scrapping, her details will be down below, and I've created this layout of one of the world's most iconic buildings and a massive landmark of Australia. It is October and we are focusing on landmarks in Australia, and of course how could I go without doing the Opera House. So I'm going to be using some mixed media on this layout. I've got my papers here. This I'm going to use to mount, and look at this piece of paper. Isn't it just gorgeous? I love the texture, the tiling. And then I have this paper here, which I'm using both sides throughout this layout to follow Mel's sketch. So I'm going to start by adding in some mixed media here, and I'm doing it as the rays from this stencil that I have gotten from Scrapbook Fantasies, an Australian company, and I'm using Crocodile Tears as my paste to go through because it has a shimmer of a green colour to it. Now when you use a stencil, see how it has smudge there. On this page that's okay because there are smudges on the page, but that's because I didn't actually make sure that it was down flat when I was doing it, and that's what happens when a stencil moves. So you need to be a little bit careful when you're using your mixed media and make sure that it is down flat. Now I have this Tim Holtz Distress spritz. Oh my goodness, couldn't even get that out. And I've had this for months. It's been sitting on my shelf and I just thought, well, might as well use it. This is the perfect opportunity. And I'm using the weathered paint one, and I'm just adding it as my splatters. It's going to have that little mica through it, and that will give it a bit of a sparkle. And when you use these, you have to really make sure you give them a good shake to get all the colour up. Alright, so now I'm going to prepare the pieces that I need for this layout while that dries, and this got some paper tearing happening in this layout. Just tearing down both sides because on Mel's sketch that's what she has on the sides of hers. And then I'm just going to trim off the two extras that were torn because I'll need them for the centre panel, and that's what I've cut here is the centre panel, and I cut it at 3.5 inches in width, and I'm going to add those two pieces that you just saw me tear in the opposite direction, so I have the two tones happening on this panel. And that torn paper is going to be one part of the edging, and I've decided that I'd add some of this ribbon that I have, which has got the hint of the purple in it and the sparkle of the silver, and I've gone with that because my photos have this hint of silver in it and the sparkle and the hint of purple, and you'll see that when we're looking at the photos. Now, I have chosen the Opera House to be my focus for this landmark for October because I live in Sydney. The Sydney Opera House is iconic around the world. It is one of the most distinctive buildings that everybody knows. This building opened in 1973 and it was opened by Queen Elizabeth herself. And then in 1998 it was added to the World Heritage List. Now, anyone who has ever been to Sydney has seen the Sydney Opera House and the sails, and we've all seen them lit up on, if you haven't seen them physically yourself, you've seen them on TV through New Year's Eve lights and celebrations, or you've seen it through Vivid. And yes, just this weekend, the sails were lit up with pictures of Charles and Camilla. King Charles has come to Australia, and so in honour of that, the Opera House lit up in the colours and photos of King Charles and Camilla. Now, I absolutely love the Opera House. I love the detail of those sails, and in these photos you can see the tiling that exists on the fascias of those sails. These were taken in June this year when I went to watch my children at my school perform in the Opera House. It is a performing arts centre, so there are lots of opportunities to visit there for theatre. I've been there to see the ballet. I've been there to see the Mikado. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof there. As I said, just recently I saw children from my school perform there. So I've been there for performances with children and taken them to see the theatre there as well in the bottom theatres underneath. It is a great landmark in Australia and is very, very recognisable. So what I've done now is I've collected little bits of paper scraps left over that I've used to create the banners or the fishtail banners that Mel has on her sketch, and I am now just starting to construct this layout for you. So I have added the torn paper and I've added ribbon to it. Now this is a bit fiddly to get the tape off it because it is material, not paper, and I'm just lining the two outside edges with these strips as per Mel's sketch, and that ties beautifully. So that allows for an edging on my layout without me having to add any extra, and it is a finishing touch to the layout by layering in the ribbon as well. So once I've put those down, you can see that the sheer gossamer of that ribbon allows the base to show through, but adds that little hint of sparkle, as I said. And I'm just adding this base, and the tape is not coming off very easily because of the ribbon. That is a factor. I do add a little bit of glue to make sure that it all stays down in place, and I also add more tape into the center to adhere this panel to the middle of the layout. And I'm persevering with it, trying to pull off the tape. There you go, finally got that piece of paper off that tape, and I finally managed to do that one as well. I'm just going to add the glue like I said because I want it to stay adhered to the layout and also to keep together so they don't come apart. Now that's down the centre there, and that's that centre panel from the sketch that Mel produced, and now I can begin to construct. So I'm using the 3 photos, and I did rotate Mel's sketch from the original position, and that was so that my photos would fit on my layout the way I needed them to based on my photos. And as I said, you can see this beautiful building. It is amazing, and look at the detail in that photo. You can see the tiles that are there, and I just found out that they're both, well, they're actually made up of 2 different types of tiles. One is white gloss and the other is a cream matte, and that's how it gets that reflective surface, so that's very good. It is lit up beautifully here, but it looks fantastic in Vivid because they always change the designs. It looks fantastic on New Year's Eve when they project the countdown and all other designs across it. And then, as I said, like at the moment we have Charles and Camilla here, so therefore on the weekend they projected Charles and Camilla. They've done the football on it, they've done the Olympians on it, so it's actually a multi-purpose building. I've cut out this title here, Illuminated Elegance, because she is an elegant lady, this building. She sits in the harbour and she rides the harbour with pride. And as I said, anyone who's ever been to Sydney has seen it or visited it or stood on the forecourt of it. If they've been on a ship sailing, they've had photos with it in the background. So it is a very iconic landmark here in Australia. And given that it's October, that's what we're hopping along and showcasing, our landmarks. I've added in 3 clusters. Mel had 2 on her sketch, and she knows I always have to go with the rule of 3s, and so therefore I've added an extra cluster in there. I've added in some pops of colour in the purple to pick up the purple in that photo. You can see that all of these photos are reflected in the colours of my layout, and that is why they still pop despite what's going on in the background of that layout. So there you can see my title. It is mounted in the 2 shades of purple. I've added in the stars with the pops of colour. You can see that ribbon hint just out from underneath the torn papers, and those fishtail banners add that little bit extra to that layout. So please feel free to copy it. Mel's would be thrilled if you had a go at her sketch. I'm hoping that this has appealed to you in some way. I really do appreciate you coming and stopping by. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if there's something here that you like. Down below I have the full playlist of the girls playing along with the hopping along with the girls from the Lands Down Under. It is a Monday hop. We do it every Monday. October, as I said, is landmarks. Check out what the other girls are showcasing of the Australia and New Zealand. It is a great way to learn a little bit about the lands down under. And there's my final layout. It looks quite spectacular. Thank you. Check out that playlist below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you like what I'm doing, and you'll get some more of my layouts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you already haven't, but thank you if you already have. Leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. The feedback is amazing. It really does help to keep my channel active. You can find me under Kathy Loves to Scrap on all my socials, including Instagram, where all my layouts end up, even those without a video. Thank you once again for watching. Happy scrapping. Until next time, check out the next video.